13th gen. There's also a bunch of news about the Intel 13th gen that just came out regarding prices. I think there are some benchmarks already, pero unofficial ata yun. So, talagang na-timing na yung 7000 series ni Ryzen and the let me just check if everybody's online, huh? We're online on Facebook, but I don't know if we're online on YouTube. All right, okay. Yun. So, two competitors neck and neck. Parang the benchmarks of the 7000 Ryzen series are very similar to the Intel 13th gen. So, very interesting to see. Parang eh, when the processors are just about to be released, everybody's hyping it up now. Oh, sobrang bilis and then stuff like that. But it's really, you let the hype die down a little bit and you get the reviewers a chance to actually benchmark them na hindi nagmamadali. So it'll be interesting to see when those kind of benchmarks come out, which one really comes on top, whether Intel 13th gen or the Ryzen 7000 series. But today we have yun, so sobrang bago pa lang itong, it's not on the market yet, the Z790 boards. The ROG just actually announced them midnight kanina. And I was tempted to do a stream at midnight, but since people seem to be awake, or people are awake obviously at this time, but people seem to be active naman at this time, at least based on last night or yesterday's stream. I thought well, let's do that. So let's just go through the chat a little bit and we'll do a live unboxing of this guy. um what's up, Adrian? I hope you enjoy your mobo. The Asus stuff, Z690. Yes, and so one of the important questions about the Intel 12th gen and the Intel 13th gen, same socket ba sila? Meaning, I have an Intel 12th gen, when I and a compatible motherboard, if I upgrade to Intel 13th gen, can I keep my motherboard? Same socket ba sila? Answer is yes. They both use the LGA 1700 socket. Very rare for Intel to do this. Feeling ko na pressure sila dahil sa AMD. AMD kept the same socket all throughout. AM4, Ryzen 1000, 2000, 3000, 4000, but 4000 is really for OEMs. You didn't really see a lot of retail market consumers buying the 4000 series. And then 5000, but all of those chips were socket AM4. And just another indication na okay talaga yung competition sa market. Intel, infamous really na kada generation magpapalit nung socket yan, meaning that if you were to upgrade, you would also need to buy a new motherboard. But I think napilitan sila nung AMD, at least for Intel 12th gen and 13th gen, they've kept the same socket. And they're gonna, whenever you upgrade to the next gen, people, especially yung script ni Intel, well, kailangan ng bagong socket kasi ang daming improvements. The chips are smaller. I mean, the how many chips you can actually cram, how many processing units you can actually cram onto one chip are smaller. More power efficiency, etc. They're gonna go throw all of that jargon at you just to justify a new socket. But AMD has proven with the venerable, much they earned a lot of accolades for the AM4 and for good reason. You can get substantial performance improvements while keeping the same socket. So yes, the Intel 12th gen and Intel 13th gen are both on socket LGA 1700. So ayun, let's do the unboxing. So I have the main camera. The ZVE10 is a better camera, but I'll also um yeah. If long-time viewers will appreciate that I'm using again the iPhone X or something. This guy, you can see it on stream rather. Yep. So for a long time, what we were using for video production was just the iPhones. In fact, inarbor ko lang nga to sa misis ko. This isn't even mine. And then for streams, we were just using Droid Cam. We have gotten a proper camera now with the ZVE10. In fact, we have two of them. But um, we'll use the ZVE10 as for the primary monitor or the primary camera for unboxing. And then we'll just use, hindi naman to mahalaga yung nakikita ni Apple, ni iPhone. So we can use that as secondary. Let me just go to the chat a little bit, and then of course I'll be discussing a little bit about ano ba yung pagkaiba ng Z790 tsaka Z690. Um, for tech questions like this one, I'll try to answer them a little bit after the unboxing. So let's do it. Live unboxing Z790 ROG Strix. Thank you to Asus. Oh shoot. Before I say of course, thank you to Asus for sending this guy over. But before I get to the actual unboxing, let me just do the ad. Medyo behind tayo ngayon sa deliverables natin kay CDK. So let me just play the ad.
Bibili ka ng PC, most likely kailangan ng Windows. Pero saan ka kukuha ng legit Windows? Daming options, daming prices. Saka nito.
Buti na lang, may cdkeyoffers.com.
Madali lang ang order.
Search for the software you need, add to cart, daan ka sa payment options nila.
Wala pang 5 minutes, finished! May legit working CDK ka na para sa Windows mo.
Gamitin lang aming code para makakuha pa ng discounts.
Kaya kung naghahanap ka ng legit, mura, at original software,
Check out cdkeyoffers.com.
All right. So, yep. All right. Time for the unboxing. Unboxing. Thank you to ROG. Oh man, there's so much stuff in the way. Like you can't. It's off camera, but I have to move my old beast of a computer, so I have room down here on the desk. Oh, here, but it's nice. What mobile? Yes, I recently upgraded my computer last March or so, so it's now that sexy naked beast. Sorry, ITX addict. I promised I wouldn't flash my naked PC on my screen again, but I just can't keep myself from flashing. But this is the old guy. So he was in the way. I need leg room. So, all right. ROG Strix Z790A Gaming Wi-Fi D4. And as pointed out by Adrian on the Facebook comments, this is a DDR4 motherboard. So very important to note. Although this is the only DDR4 Z790 MOBO that ROG announced, it's also the only white motherboard that they announced. So they have DDR5 motherboards, they have the super bonkers line. And I mean by super bonkers, yung mga hero I forget the exact model names, but the really, really expensive ones. This Z790 is you can't really say anything from ROG is particularly cheap. I mean, ROG is always premium. Pero this particular board, the Z790A D4, is a bit more affordable than the other boards that they announced a while ago. This one, we're gonna fire up the RGB using this one. So this is actually pretty cool. I don't think this is standard, to be honest. ASUS sent it over so we could power up the board even though it's not installed in a computer. This guy is just the 24-pin power for the MOBO, and then it plugs into a USB, so we can use that later. So again, as I mentioned, standing up now, so I'm serious. As I mentioned, it is an LG A1700 socket, so these are the brackets you need for your coolers. Although usually the coolers naman come with. All right. So, all right. Sorry, let's practice proper hygiene. I will ground myself on my case. Basta basically anything metal to sap any static electricity. We're transferring it from my body to the metal component so that I don't zap anything on this case, on this motherboard. Although, yun nga, hindi naman siya, I mean, to be honest, been in computers for a long time. I don't think I've ever damaged something because of electrostatic discharge. But, at the same time, I'm always careful to properly discharge myself at the proper time in the appropriate via the appropriate means. So ESD bag, of course, and here is the board. To answer Adrian's question whether it's white or silver, it looks it's both. Like this sorry, let me show it on camera. Like there are definitely more parts that are grayish, so like this brushed aluminum, very premium feel. Again, ROG, what do you expect? But there are more white parts like here. And like I just want to zoom in on a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna be honest, guys. So I already unboxed, so hindi ito yung first time for me to see this board. Kasi una, gusto ko rin malaman ano ba yung ina-unbox ko, di ba? Mali mo pagbukas ko, bato lang pala pinadala ni Asus. And of course, that doesn't happen with Asus, but that has happened with some of the Lazada orders we've received. So I did want to check it out. I have looked at the details, but I think I can zoom in. I just really want to appreciate this is just purely aesthetic, but I love how playful the motherboard is. You can check out the there. You can see the Pac-Man guy just right there. I mean, it's one of the ghosts from Pac-Man. And then the little dots that Pac-Man eats. Again, just a playful touch, but I love it. It's I mean, 98% of people would not. I mean, it's a motherboard. You put it in your computer case. It's just a small detail. You wouldn't really notice it. It's not RGBified or anything. But yun, I just really appreciate the little things. They also have like a DNA kind of etching here on the side. The Pac-Man motif actually is continued on the VRM on one of the main VRMs here. So you do actually get Pac-Man here. Oh, there we go on camera, and then he kind of eating. So again, it's not performance related. It's a very small aesthetic touch, but again, it's just an indication that ROG in particular is I think their tagline is by gamers for gamers. It's just a nice touch na yeah, I mean, we like fun things. It's just kind of like a small touch like that, but it's also a recurring motif in the design of the motherboard. So you have Pac-Man again here. Sorry, let me yeah, Pac-Man again here, and then the kind of like the dots that he eats. So pretty cool. I enjoyed na lola ko when I noticed that. So sige, we'll get back to the board in a little bit. Let's do the board. Fine. I mean, the accessories are basically the same accessories, right? So we'll go through the accessories, but we'll go through the board now. Beautiful board. On aesthetics, I mean, you got the brushed aluminum feel of the M.2 heat sinks. Just a quick run through of the specs. This is DDR4, but it's maxed up to 5,333 megahertz, so that is quite fast. To be honest, I haven't oh man, this camera is not seeing anything. Might as well just yeah. I haven't researched that well into Intel. Oh, somebody in the background. I haven't researched that well on Intel, like what's the optimal RAM speed? Because Ryzen bottoms out. Like you don't really want to go faster than around 3.6 or so on because of the Infinity Fabric architecture. I don't know if that's the case with the 7000 series, but definitely that's kind of the rough rule of thumb for the AM4 Mobos, AM4 CPUs of Ryzen. I don't know about Intel, but this one, yeah, goes up to a bonkers 5,333 megahertz, and that's just on DDR4. The DDR5 Mobos, the Z790 by ROG, go up to something like 6,800 megahertz or something. So that's pretty insane speed. This is a PCIe 5 slot. Um, you would want, I mean, you would expect a PCIe 5 slot on in a Z790 Mobo, even the Z690s. Their primary PCIe slots are the PCIe 5. Then I think you have two more PCIe 4s and one PCIe 3. But what is unique to this Asus Mobo, or what is unique to Asus motherboards in general, are the Q latch system, which we'll talk about now. So even not you don't even need to get their Z790 motherboards. We've seen their lower tier motherboards with the same features, and I really appreciate that because so what is the Q latch? One, they have it for the PCIe slot. Is you just press a button. Let me bring up the Mobo closer to the screen. Yeah, so you press this, yeah, and then you can see it on screen. The PCIe slot releases by itself. And you're like, oh, so what the hell? I mean, it's just like you press a button and this thing mechanically moves. But that's super useful, especially in the age of gargantuan, gigantic GPUs. And sorry, I'm gonna use my PC as an example again. So this is a 3080, and it's around, it takes up 2, 3 slots. Well, actually, 3 slots really, three slightly more. And the problem here is that if I wanted to release this GPU, I would have to dig in all the way there. I mean, the slot, it's not easy to get to the latch of the PCIe slot with such gigantic motherboards. Sorry, with such gigantic GPUs. The Q latch or the Q release from Asus, again, not unique to this particular motherboard line. A lot of their motherboard lines have it already. It makes it super useful. Here we go. Chuk. Wait. Chuk. Oh, Oh, you could see it better before on camera. Ah, there. Yeah, see? Yon. It's, again, and this is a refinement that seems super simple, but I really appreciate na sobrang useful nito. Again, because you don't want to be having to dig your fingers in there, and to be honest, you don't know anymore. Ako, pag naiinis na ako, hindi ko na alam anong pinipindot ko dyan sa motherboard para lang in the vain hope na matamaan ko yung release latch for for the GPU. And that problem will only get worse with yun nga, the the Monster 40 series coming out. The other PCIe slots on the board are the traditional manual ones that you need to unclip. But even this one, you notice it's more like a wing design. So mas maraming surface area so that you can catch it. You can kind of find it's easier for your, yun nga, kung nakatakip to, hindi mo makita, at least it's easier to find something to latch on to. So even that, nice design touch. The other Q release thing, which I really appreciate, I think they call it the Q latch for the M.2. So we're gonna bring out our screwdriver. We are getting LTT screwdrivers thanks to one of our YouTube members. So thank you. But it's coming out December pa daw. Uh, on one hand, I do feel bad na, we are a shop. Maybe we should get our own equipment. On the other hand, it's like, we really do appreciate when people are like, we like what you're trying to do for the PC industry here, and we like your content. And, as a small thank you, we'd like to give you some stuff. That's happened before, to be honest. We had somebody donate a very nice keyboard, which you can check out in our tech troubleshooter shootout. All right. So this is the main M.2 slot. It's the main one. I mean, basically, if you have an M.2, if you're going to use an M.2, you have four different options. This board can take four different M.2 drives, but if you only have one, you want to put it in the slot closest to the CPU because that's the one with the fastest connection. You do have a heatsink. All of these guys have heat sinks behind the armor, or whatever marketing term you wanna apply to these guys. And it has the blessed Q latch, I think they call it, the Q latch here. What's missing here, if you're familiar with building, most M.2 slots just come with a screw that comes in there. So you have to slip in the M.2 here and then kind of like very gingerly kind of maneuver it into position, and then stick the screw in there and then screw it properly without upsetting the connection here and the connection here. None of that BS with the Q latch system, because the latch is already embedded into the motherboard, and you just slip in the M.2 drive, and then you just turn the latch, and easy peasy. So convenient. And again, it's just a small thing, but sobrang convenient. If you want to check out just how much difficulty I have, I do have a video for my computer. So when I did this new computer over here, this guy, sobrang hirap. Actually, that was my first time to actually use an M.2. Sobrang hirap niya to get it into position. It's really frustrating. And I appreciate that ASUS has eliminated that pain point with the Q latch system. So I'm just going to show you the other one. Again, thermal padding there to deal with the heat generated by the M.2. I don't actually honestly know how much heat M.2s generate. Pero binibig deal, everybody's like, yes, this is for cooling. It's a heat sink and things like that. Maybe we should try to run an M.2 naked. Like that's I mean, without the heat sink. Let's see, but does it affect performance? Does it, you know, affect okay, so this is cool. I mentioned you can have four M.2s in here. That's uncommon. Even high-end boards just a few generations ago would only allow two. So this is your first one, it's the primary. Then you have another one here too. And then you have dual slots here, third and fourth. So that's so sorry. One, two, three, and four. Yep, so you can have four M.2 drives in here. They've cut back on the SATA bank, so there are only four SATA connections here. Although again, with everybody's kind of moving to M.2 and NVMe speeds now. Not that all M.2 are NVMe, so that's something you need to remember or keep in mind if you're building. But most boards actually have more than 4 SATA ports, but it's not really necessary to have a lot anymore nowadays. Um, yep. So we've talked about the M.2 slots. Yes, for the sige, let's before I stick everything back on. This is 16 plus 1 voltage phases. So generally the whole point of a motherboard, yes, it brings everything together. Basically everything about your computer is connected to the motherboard. And one of its primary functions is to deliver just the right amount of voltage to all of the parts. And you want a clean voltage, hindi yung maingay. Like if you were to plot it on a graph, like patalon-talon siya, you want it just like a clean stream of current. And so you want these, that's the whole point of VRMs or voltage regulator modules. The better VRMs do that, just the right amount of power and a clean power signal. So you do look at how many phases it goes through. So this is 16 plus 1. Quite good, but I think the more expensive boards, like yung mga bonkers boards, have more phases, I think. But this VRM is super chonky. I mean, this is this is such a fat, this is a fat guy. Let me just uh let me just show you just so this is like this, right? So this is it's about as long as my finger. No, no, my finger. It's even longer than my fingers. And just to illustrate, so this is like the cutting edge of Intel motherboards now, Z790 ROG, and this is an X570 from. So this is AM4, just the recently concluded generation of AMD, but the VRM is maybe just three-fourths the size of the one over here. And you also note that for the AM4 boards, it's still the one for the CPU, it's the 1X8. But for Intel 12th gen and 13th gen, they have the two. So you have two. Let me get it on camera. Yeah, you have the two sockets now for the two power connectors, two 8-pin power connectors for the CPU there. Again, super premium from ROG. This is actually the first time. I mean, it looks so parang metal pa yung ano, yung frame nung CPU power connectors dito. And may naka-etch pa. It says Pro Cool. Does it say yes, Pro Cool? I'm assuming that's AMD's way of saying that yes, we know there's a lot of power flowing through this guy, and we made sure na kaya ng board yung power na yun. Such a beefy VRM here and here. I think this is also a VRM. I don't know. But yeah, you do want in general. I mean, people gush over like just how big the VRMs are, kasi that's an indication that it can take it's better at heat dissipation, and there is a lot of heat dissipation. There is a lot of heat occurring when you try to get the proper voltage to the CPU and to the other parts, and cleaning up the signal of the power supply. Uh, that's really where the heat is generated as you're filtering it through the VRM. So there's a lot of heat, and the quality mobos like this one have measures in place, like heat sinks in place. Some even have active cooling, so hindi lang passive, but they have actually small fans to get rid of the heat generated from the operation of the board. Saan yung so I'm seeing two Argb headers over here. So that's one, that's two. There must be an Rgb header. Is this the 4-pin Rgb header? Is this 2 and 2? I know this is the fans. Wala na bang RGB header? Like, well, di na ba uso yung 12-volt 4-pin? I mean, the ARGB is superior in terms of lighting capabilities that you can generate. Although, generally, most boards have come with both. Kinda, I guess maybe ROG is making a statement na, no, you just need ARGB. We're on that premium end. Yeah, parang it's just here and here, dalawang ARGB. But we'll do a proper, not live, Alam mo guys, to be honest, nakaka-stress yung live eh. Because you're like, let's not drop the board and let's try to hit our marks. Let's try to remember the proper information. Let's try to give the proper information. So it's much more calming if hindi siya live and you can do passes with the camera and then you can do proper voiceover and things like that. But it does look like na walang RGB header. To answer Pesto's question, let me just go through the chat a bit. Sup, Banag Hurlinks. Pesto, this one we don't have. This one we don't get to keep. Actually, itong board na to, it even came with a Intel 13th Gen. Quiet. We're not really supposed to talk about that. But it came with an Intel 13th Gen CPU. So it will help us benchmark this particular board. But we're not allowed to show we're not allowed to show the board. We're not even allowed actually to do a video review of this yet because naka-embargo pa. We're just allowed to do the unboxing and basic features. So definitely not allowed to keep this board. Jeffrey Cyron, maybe on top of the RAMs. Let's check. Oh yes, you are right. Let me check. This does look like Hayop tong ROG na to. Jeffrey is right. Thank you for the assist. So there are two here ARGB headers, and there is another ARGB header. Oh, sorry. Let me get that on camera. There's another ARGB header here on top of the RAM, and one RGB header. So this is the 4-pin, 12-volt 4-pin header. Yeah, so it does come with 3 and then 1. Okay. So di naman like super statement ng ROG na heck no, we don't support RGB anymore. Is this what they're marketing it as? Moonlight white? It does look very good. It's very hard to find white motherboards. A lot of people like the white build aesthetic, but it's quite hard to find. In the shop, people often ask us na, oh, I want a whiteboard talaga. We are able to get sometimes, but sometimes but yes, sometimes it's quite difficult. So it's interesting. At least this board looks very good. And then medyo in keeping pa with our market. Kasi to be honest, guys, mahal pa yung DDR5. It's most builds using Intel 13th Gen, I anticipate will still be DDR4. Just like the builds, most of our builds that we've done for Intel 12th Gen are also still DDR4. So it's nice to have this particular option. Although I would like, to be honest, it probably carry the tough. I haven't seen yet what the tough lineup is for Z790s, but we'd most likely carry those. We do actually have a beautiful Prime motherboard na white den for Z690, pero DDR5 ata yun. What's up, Lucky Bear Vlogs? Yes, DDR4. Yep. Maka-clash rock sa 3080, colorful 3080 Ti mo, black yun, white to. So aesthetically, you don't want that. All right, so let's just go through the I/O ports here at the back. Sorry, and again, kulit kasi nung Pac-Man motif dito eh. Let's just appreciate the back of the board also. You have the ROG logo etched here at the back. And Pac-Man again. Yung kulit, kulit nitong Pac-Man motif eh. It was really cute. Oh, and here's the ghost. Here's another Pac-Man ghost there. And also continued on the I/O portion of the motherboard. Let me just get it properly. Yeah. Sorry, So of course, with any premium motherboard, wait, sorry, let me get it. Yeah. All right. The I/O shield is already integrated into the MOBO, so none of those old jokes na nag-install ka, nag-assemble ka ng computer, tapos punyeta, i-on mo na, tapos nakalimutan mo yung I/O shield. None of that going on with this ROG Z790A MOBO. Interestingly, you do have a display port and an HDMI port. DP, you don't normally see on an I/O of a motherboard. Although this one, yeah, is pretty premium. And I mean, to be honest, guys, if you're at this, you're getting an ROG board, malamang you won't be using integrated graphics with your for your setup. Although I do know a lot of customers who do still want, so they're gonna get like an Intel i7 13700, for example. Then I'll be like, just get the F version, yung di kailangan ng GPU. And they're like, no, I still want the integrated graphics of the CPU kasi pang backup just in case something happens to the GPU. So in that case, ROG does have your back. It even may DP pa tong IO na to. All of the standard bells and whistles for a premium motherboard. So you have the flash BIOS here and the CMOS reset button here. You don't need to manually pop out anymore the CMOS battery there. Two USB 3 ports, six USB non-USB 3 ports. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And of course, the LAN port and the Wi-Fi. We'll come to that later. Um, the white aesthetic continues on to the I/O portion of the motherboard. So if you have a white case, ganda nga nito. I mean, this part of the board will be sticking out in the rear. But at least when you turn around, you can still see na if you look at the rear, it's like up, puti, white talaga siya all the way. Yep. So let me just go through the. I don't know where to put this guy now. Okay. Hangout here is the 790. Oh, what happened to YouTube? Lucky Bear Vlogs. I think the comments from YouTube stopped showing in the prompter now. FB still works. Yes, FB still works. And this. Yeah, we have views naman from YouTube, but you're right. I haven't seen any particular comments coming out from YouTube. I don't know why. I'm supposed to be having good signal naman. Um, yeah, so if you guys want to comment, you gotta pop over to Facebook. Apparently. All right, let's just do the unboxing. Sorry, I need more space. I don't want to do a Linus and like sweep this board off my table. So let's just put this guy here and here. All right, there we go. This is the Wi-Fi antennas. Oh, and we'll power it up later with this guy. Yeah. Let's do that. But this is the Wi-Fi antennas. If we get a lot of customers actually na those who are a bit unfamiliar with computers, like my Wi-Fi is not working, and then nakalimutan nila to install the antennas. So you do need to screw in the antennas, regardless of board, not just the ROG boards, but a lot of the boards are like this now. We won't open it na kasi I feel bad. I don't know, it's open na. Okay. How's that on camera? Yep. To be honest, when I get these things na, like sometimes it's really me opening it for the first time na naiilang ako to to remove the packaging and things like that. I was the same way with the PG48UQ. So these are the Wi-Fi things. They're kind of, if you're of a certain generation, they look like cable TV. But you used to the coaxial cables that you used to screw into the cable box. So these guys just go in the back of the Mobo here and here. Yep. So don't forget that. It's really gonna. We do get customers. In fact, I think I might have made a short video out of it, explain so that I could explain. No, yeah, guys, you got to plug this in. No, the antenna swivels. So it's like that. Again, the kind of shark. It's always reminded me of a shark's fin. Chuk. Oh, but again, nice and premium, very solid feel. All right, I'll fix this up later. This part I have not actually gotten to, so I have no idea what goodies are in here. Okay, cable tie. These rubber thingies. To be honest, I never used these rubber thingies. Maybe for sound dampening and things like that. Oh, extra thermal pad. Thanks, Asus. Not that I have to give this back. More rubber thingies and extra Q latch. Yes, here just in case na whatever happens to the hinge or something. And more extra Q latch things. You get a keychain. I think this is keychain. You get the instructions. Oh, you get some stickers. Some stickers. Actually, and a very premium kind of hard to tell. It's hard to tell on camera, but very premium. There, kind of like may etching siya on the card. It's just like a warranty card and like thank you so much and please follow us on our socials and things like that. About the stickers, I miss back in the day. Let me just go back to my old rig very briefly. Like when brands with the, I mean, like itong RIP EVGA. I mean, press F for such a great brand. This came from my 980 ata, so way back in the day. So Noctua EVGA, these weren't just stickers. They were like actual like metal things na you could affix to wherever. And so these guys are stickers. I've noticed that some brands carry on the tradition, especially ROG. I mean, the items I've seen from ROG, there are a lot of stickers, but very few people now put them on their cases themselves, on the case themselves. Mainly because I think there's so many other customization options out there. Um, right, that is. I mean, nowadays, really, the market has exploded for things for what you can, how you can customize your build on the inside, RGB, as well as on the outside, the exterior. It actually just David, go if you're in the stream or if your watch this later on. I blame you for this because I see David may request for a particular NZXT item. So we do allow custom requests for hardware sugar. Just message us, then we'll see if we can get it from our supplier. Um, so I had to look up the NZXT item. Unfortunately, we couldn't carry it. But I found out that NZXT has a microphone as a has that yung parang puck nila. It's a head it's a headset holder, so it's magnetic. It just sticks to your case or any other metal part. And then I noticed that they have one for Mass Effect. And if you know me, I'm a big, super big Mass Effect fan. And all right, let's light this sucker up. And where's the 24 yet? So now, because I saw that because of David's inquiry, I'm gonna order it for myself now. I don't know how did we end up on that particular anecdote. Like, why am I talking about like oh yeah, ways to customize your computer. Yeah, so many ways now. All right, so we got the we all right. Let's light up this board. Light up this board. Okay, actually, I have this one I haven't done yet. That was first time I opened up that one. Sige. So I gotta plug it into a USB. So, but I gotta let's get naman the lighting on camera. Abot pa tayo? Yes, and yep, yep. Oh, there we go. ROG in the house. Ganda. It's really. I'm laughing to myself because I'm thinking to myself, God damn it! Now I want to build a new system, and let me zoom in so that, or can I zoom in on this thing? Man, we need a camera, man. There. Oh, bird's eye view of the yon. Nice. Also, of course, all controllable through ASUS Armor Crate, which is the ASUS proprietary program for RGB control. Nice subtle touch. I mean, to be honest, I don't really need bonkers RGB on my board. This is really nice and subtle. Um, just enough to, give a little flair, but at the same time keeping you wanted it white, right? So you don't want like a whole lot of colors splashing around in here. Plus, with your GPU, malamang you're gonna have case fan lights or whatever. You're really gonna have a lot of color. So just the right amount of lighting for me. I don't need my mobile super blinged out. Looks very nice. Let me. If I ever do come up with like a home studio or like a setup, we need like yung sa overhead, parang dito overhead, yan. So parang nakaganon siya, and we can have a top-down view like most of the other YouTubers have na, for unboxings and things like that. Come here, camera. Get over here. So that, folks, is the ROG Z790-A motherboard. Fine piece of equipment. Quite hefty, actually. You can feel. I mean, it's it's ROG, man. So ROG, really premium stuff. It's quite hefty. That's probably most of the weight is from the VRMs, and you do want chunky or thick VRMs as they dissipate heat better. Ayun, so let me just get the shields back on. And let me. All right, so um I think YouTube comments are back up. Rubber pads for the screws. Alam ko, dyan mostly na damage motherboard pag walang protective rubber sa screw slots. I talking about the risers. I've installed my mobos without without rubber for years. I mean, the general advice is don't over tighten. I mean, yes, you want it, of course, stuck there onto your case. I mean, through the risers, but don't over tighten. When I was doing a motherboard video recently, I discovered that most people don't call them risers anymore. Those little screws nga that connect, like, these are the riser holes there. What's the other term for them now? Oh, this is the dual M.2, so it goes here. So let's just put the armor back. So hefty, so premium. Again, I hate ROG for sending us stuff. We gotta send them back. Risers or what? Mobile standoffs. Yeah. Parang the term. Are these people in the forums abroad? Parang mas ginagamit nila yung standoffs ngayon. But I still use risers. Although, the downside of using that terminology is that naging uso na ngayon yung riser cables. So you can have vertically mounted GPUs which require riser cables. And if you're not being careful, or if yung kausap mo is new to PC building, baka malito siya sa ano ba tong risers tsaka yung riser cables. Baka you might think they're the same thing, which they are definitely not. Just line up the screws here. Yeah, so these guys are super, yun, kaka-announce lang ni ROG nito midnight, kanina. And no word yet when they're gonna be available in the local market. The Intel 13th Gen also, yung mga, where is the longer stick? Here. Yeah, the news about Intel, itong si Intel kind of wants to undercut. Syempre, parang, di ba, parang everybody's talking about your competitor kasi AMD 7000 series is just about to release. And so they kind of want to undercut the new cycle by kind of getting it in there na, oh, ito yung prices namin. And actually, it's very interesting now kasi parang neck and neck na talaga yung performance. But I haven't looked into the benchmarks a lot. Uh, it's It's the only time, Luigi, I can get away from my kids, to be honest. Like, both of them are sleeping. Kaya napaisip ako na, ano. To be honest, Asus like, oh, you unbox on your prime times, mga 8 p.m. People have just had dinner, and, yeah, more people are free to watch the stream. I'm like, yeah, but I'm not free because kids, man, kids. But actually, I was very surprised by the response yesterday's stream did really well. I mean, I was really surprised that there were a lot of people active at that time. So I thought, yeah, sige, let's do an afternoon. Let's do another afternoon stream. Um, yeah, if you didn't catch yesterday's stream, we're thinking of doing a podcast. If you have any thoughts on what we should include or things like that, what to call it, tentatively, my tentative name for the podcast is Tech Show but Friendly, which I kind of think captures the vibe of why a lot of people subscribe to Hardware Sugar. Is that we try to introduce computer hardware, but hindi siya jargon or hindi siya in an intimidating way na hindi mo alam yung AM4, tatanga mo, or but binili mo yung cooler na yan, or but yung a lot of tech guys kasi when they start talking, it's like touch move. Every move you do is wrong, and every move is is wrong, and um will lead to further bad things down the line. So I think why a lot of people get interested with the channel is that our content is really, we don't dumb it down, but we try to explain it in ways that you don't need a super technical background, or you're just getting into the hobby. So we really try as much as possible to make it easier for beginners. Again, not in a dumbed down way, I think, but in a user friendly way, because a lot of it is presentation. Like, do you really need to mention this particular spec at that point in a video na hindi naman kailangan. Of course, we get some pushback from enthusiasts na, oh, di mo na-mention yung cooling nito or hindi mo na-mention yung feature na to, parang ganun. But a lot of that is, A, that's by design, and B, sometimes I really don't know the feature. So yes, I might have missed it. But a lot of the time, it's really like, yes, I know about this feature, but hindi siya bagay dun sa video na yon. So I think maybe that's what would attract an audience for the podcast would be having that same kind of vibe na approachable. You know, it provides value to the listener. They learn something, pero hindi yung mayabang or hindi yung puro jargon lang. So my tentative name for the podcast might be Tech Show but Friendly. So it's kind of like also kind of YouTube clickbaity na parang, oh, I know what to expect, Tech Show, but friendly, parang ganon. Speaking of unexpected, parang you're trying to catch titles. I mean, you try to be clickbait in the title and in the thumbnail. I mean, clickbait in the sense that it attracts, it entices people to see what's this video about. The title of our next video releasing midnight later is please use your mobile in your car. So, di ba, parang baliktad. It's like everybody's like, oh, don't dapat, you know, eyes on the road, wag mo ikalikot mobile mo. But our next video dropping midnight tonight is please use your mobile in your car. So yeah, di ba? Parang it's like, oh, um, that's unexpected. And maybe that's also kind of like a virtue maybe of the title for the podcast. Tech show, but friendly. So medyo like may twist konti. Yes, Friday credit cards, hardware sugar, straight payments only. Do we have Lazada and Shopee? Yes, we do, but we only post the cheap items there because na-scam na kami dati. We used to post all of our items and then people would buy CPUs from us and then claim that yung pinadala namin walang CPU and then they would return them to us tas bato lang yung laman. I did make a video out of that. It's under our milestones video, the year 3 report card. Nandun yun. So, I know a lot of people want to buy from us using Lazada and Shopee, pero sisihin mo yung mga scammers. And it's not easy. We sell, you know, padala namin 18,000 peso CPU, babalik sa'yo bato. Tapos walang pa kayong Lazada and Shopee. So, good vibes on to stream na to. I had a good time unboxing the Z790A, so I won't spoil it by reliving those moments. But yeah, that's the short reason why a lot of our items are not on Lazada and Shopee now. Yeah. Actually, Stephen, the cheapest DDR5 RAM that we have found is from Crucial. Tapos we can actually get supply. So I am keen to carry that in the shop. And Crucial is quite good for memory. My own I do use an MX500 SSD from them for years now, and super okay. The RAM also okay. So we are thinking of getting that DDR5 RAM. It's the cheapest DDR5 that we've seen. Although meron na rin from Team Group at an okay price, medyo pababa na rin yung DDR5 RAM prices. It's true, when we started carrying them, kasi yung Intel 12th Gen was the first system that allowed you to have DDR5 RAM. Sobrang mahal ng DDR5 RAM. Wala masyadong options available. But yeah, nowadays, medyo pababa naman. Although there is a general price increase in the market in general because of our foreign exchange rate. Stop ITX addict. Yeah, yeah, Crucial. We are angling to stock Crucial. It seems to have very good prices for DDR5. And since you're in the stream, I know I promised it would be safe for work, but ta-dang! I gotta just flash the naked PC again. Well, and the board is naked, right? So maybe this stream is not so safe for work. Got a lot of naked stuff going on here. John Robert, yep. Thank you really to ASUS for allowing or giving us the opportunity to unbox this Z790 live. I haven't seen any content from any local creators with the Z790. Although we're not allowed yet to do a full review. Sorry, napaka-pangit nung camera angle. Like you could see some of the light. You could see the cheap lighting fixture I have. But yeah, super thank you to ASUS. So we have a good relationship with them. We don't even buy a lot of stuff from them, to be honest. I mean, as a shop, we don't buy. We do buy some stuff from ASUS, but not a lot compared to some of the other brands. But we are very thankful, and I super, and especially for the beautiful PG 48 UQ OLED 138 hertz, 48 inches monitor. God, so crazy. That's so good. Ha! That's a good one. Yun ba ibig sabihin ng NSF? I know the not safe for work, not safe for wallet pala. In fairness, basta ROG, not safe for wallet talaga yan. Luigi, I was gonna actually comment on your YouTube comment na I understand yun nga, you mentioned that you have a collegiate basketball podcast. If you're not a Blue Eagles fan, we can't be friends anymore. Yeah, joke lang. Well, to be honest, uh, eh, I mean, we really enjoy making content in our vein na hindi masyadong tech. I mean, it is tech focused, but the jargon is not there. So we don't really even we don't even really look at it as like, oh, sell. It's more like, yeah, this is nice to this is really cool tech. And if you watch us on our videos, any of the hosts, I think our enthusiasm is very apparent. And yes, I mean, look at this beautiful bonkers motherboard. Um, and we do try to frame it in a beginner friendly way to get more people into the hobby. The OLED monitor, yun nga, the 48 inches PG 48 UQ, the SRP was around 117,000 pesos. Pero I really doubt na yun yung magiging price with the FX rate and um with the FX rate what it is, and in general. Actually, the 42 incher was cheaper than it was around 1.2 or 1,000 US, I think, the 42 incher. If you go to Amazon now, it's at around $2,000. So it's even more expensive than the 48 incher kasi hindi po on sale yung 48 incher. Next quarter pa this year. I mean, last quarter this year. But the 42 incher is out now, pero tumaas nga yung presyo niya. So I doubt very much that the 48 incher will remain at the stated SRP of 17,000 pesos. We're thinking of we have a FSP or we have an EVGA. I think those have. No, sorry, our EVGA is old, but our FSP should have the 2x8 CPU pin if that's your concern. We're gonna use the FSP. We're probably gonna use one of the FSP power supply. That's good. Equal opportunity naman. Yeah, sige. Bash all the teams. I'm down with that. Yeah. So no favorites. Bash everybody. So I'm down with that. Um, Sorry, I'll just end the stream with this question from Pesto. We are allowed to test the Intel 13th gen, but it's not really benchmarking kasi engineering sample siya. So it's not the finalized version that will be available at retail. It's just really to get the board going and kind of put the board through its paces. I guess we could mention it, but we're not allowed to show any benchmarks yet, either from the 13th gen or from this particular board. So we'll shoot a review video of this board, and then to power it up, we can use the Intel 13th gen. Although we do have 12th gen naman in the shop, but the actual performance metrics, that's not allowed yet. I'm not even allowed to show it, even though it's just like a regular chip. Although to be honest, I was like pretty like, oh, we have an Intel 13th gen, and I was gonna like show it on social media, but then I was informed that it's still under embargo. So there. 4K Pro Art monitor, I have no idea. Although those are available now. Those are available now. Please message us on Facebook. We might be able to check that out for you, like what's available now sa Pro Art. Pero hindi siya 48 inches. I think it's maybe 32 or something. Something like that. Yun. So thanks so much for joining me. Again, please, if you have any ideas for the podcast that you guys think that we should talk about, please do mention them, message us, or mention it in the YouTube comments. Um, because that's something we're gearing up for. And again, it's going to be something very consistent. So at least maybe once a week is our tentative thing. Although somebody did mention yesterday na baka that's overly ambitious. We might not want to commit ourselves to that schedule. Baka mamatay kami sa trying to produce it. But we'll see. Yun nga, it needs to be regular eh. That's one thing all algorithms like, regular content. We do have a video dropping midnight tonight. That's already available for members, and that's Tech in Cars. We go through BMW 325 series, Porsche Cayenne, and a Mazda CX-8. Just kind of tracing the evolution of tech in cars. The tech in cars now, like as represented by the Mazda, the 2022 Mazda CX-8, grabe, sobrang iba na. And the parking assist, so useful. It's like you launched a drone and then the drone is looking down on top of the car. Crazy. You can see in front and behind and on the sides. Super useful. Anyway, so that's the topic of the video that will drop later tonight. Ayun, so thanks so much for watching, guys. The live unboxing, one of the first in the world, and maybe the first in the Philippines. Yun nga, kasi ROG just released, announced them. These guys are not available yet. They're not on sale yet. They were just announced midnight. Tonight, last night's midnight. That always confuses me. But yun, thanks so much to ASUS for allowing us to unbox this beautiful, beautiful board. And again, you know its quality. And I'm just gonna end with I really love the shout out. Let me just unplug it. I wanna electrocute myself or something. I just really love the shout out to the classic gaming Pac-Man series. Just the nice little touches that make you appreciate that you know that the ones who designed this board are gamers themselves and that they have a sense of fun and that this is quality engineering geared. I mean, a lot of enthusiasts are, it's for gaming. So nice little touch right there. Thank you so much. Please do check out our previous video, which dropped yesterday, the colorful 3080 Ti video, where our host there gushes about the 3080 Ti from Colorful, and our upcoming video later tonight about tech in cars, and another last. We do have a video dropping also on Friday. Tomorrow is SOTA State of the Art, so that's our in-depth tech show where they talk about like yun nga, what's new and what we can expect from Z790s. What's the difference between Z790 and Z690? The max RAM speeds are faster and they're more PCIe 4 lanes basically. So not a revolutionary upgrade to be honest, but more of the faster. More of the faster is basically the difference between Z690 and Z790. Thank you, Enzo. Thanks everybody for joining the stream. Yun, I'm gonna go have a late lunch. Stay safe. Bye.